Hi, everyone. This evening, I'm really excited about what you're going to speak about in terms of looking at perseverance, determination, and the Comrades Marathon. I'd like to talk to you about my sister. I am so proud of her. Ingrid is a teacher at a primary school and has been running the Comrades Marathon for many, many years. In fact, she's completed 19. She really enjoys athletics, and as a young child, she describes how she remembered the Comrades Marathon, looking at it on television and listening to the Chariots of Fire. She has always been interested in sport, swimming, tennis, gymnastics, and athletics, and speaks about that she started running the Comrades Marathon or long distance running when she was studying to be a teacher. So, Ingrid, I am so excited to be chatting to you this evening about these amazing accomplishments that you've done. So tell us a bit about what is this marathon?
So good evening, everyone. So the Comrades Marathon is the world's oldest and longest marathon. It is more or less 90 kilometers, and it takes place in the province of KwaZulu-Natal from Durban to Pietermaritzburg. It's a very hilly and challenging course. What makes it different is you have only 12 hours to do the race. You start at 5:30 in the morning and you have until 5:30 that afternoon. And what also is different is along the way you have various times that you have to make. And if you don't make the cutoff, then they literally stop you and you're not allowed to carry on at all. Yes, so that is the Comrades Marathon.
Has it always been a 12-hour race, or has that time changed?
In the beginning, it was 11 hours. And since 2000, I think it was, they made it 12 hours. And then 2001, it went back to 11 hours. And then I think it was since 2002, they made it permanently 12 hours. So the Comrades is now 12 hours. But as I said, previously, it was only 11 hours. So most of my runs, you had to do it under 11 hours to complete the race.
So in terms of the Comrades Marathon, what was it like having your photo in the newspaper? Has that happened before?
Yes, last year they also took a photo of myself because I was doing my 18th one last year. This year I was very surprised because I'm in my CHOC outfit. I run for CHOC, the Children's Childhood Cancer Foundation. And I was very surprised to see myself in the paper representing them. So yes, I was very chuffed when I saw it because it was my 19th run.
So what is it like running the race where there's so many people? I mean, that start at the beginning of the morning and then through the day. What's it like with the impact of so many different people?
Well, for a start, in the beginning, the average amount of people that ran was more or less 12,000 people. Nowadays, this year, there are 20,000 entered, and it is actually jam-packed. It's not like the front runners where they sort of open up and there's space. We have people around us the whole time. So I'm one of those people that will chat to anybody along the way. I chat to international people, asking them where they're from, why they are here, how many they've done. And of course, they also ask, boy, is there another hill along the way? Or where is this? Where's the next water point, or things like that. So you really take in the crowd along the way and the support and the athletes. It is really, really wonderful.
So if we think about it, you do lots of training along the way, and you've also spoken about all the different people you've met. So tell us about these photos that you've shared with us.
So to me, these people are people that lead by example. Because I also studied physical education, I also wanted to lead by example. And that's why I also started running long distances when I went to the Johannesburg College of Education. The person on the left is Jackie Meckler. He's won the Comrades Marathon 5 times. I met him there at an expo when he was handing out his book, which I bought from him, and he actually signed it for me. Also, such a humble gentleman. And of course, all these people literally will tell you good luck, have a good run, and really support you as well. In the middle is Bruce Fordyce, who has won the Comrades Marathon 9 times, of which 8 were executive in a row. Also an amazing man who has also come to school and encouraged our learners at a prize giving to participate in sport. And then the person on the right is, of course, Gerda Steyn, who broke the women's record this year. She comes from Bothaville, so I met her when she came through to Klerksdorp and did a training run with us one morning as well.
Oh, wow. Those are such beautiful stories. And it must be really nice getting to know and meet these different people who are such wonderful role models.
Yes, it really is, because they really are inspiring. When you hear them talk about what they've achieved, you really want to run even more.
So when you're training for Comrades, you run a whole lot of different races. Why do you need to do that?
Well, for Comrades, you have to qualify. You can't just decide you're going to enter today and do the Comrades. So you have to do a standard marathon, which is 42.2 kilometers in 4 hours and 50 minutes. So this is a race called Klerksdorp, which is in Mpumalanga. You run from Klerksdorp to Nelspruit. It is a very downhill course. So I like to do it because it is challenging, but yet it is manageable in a way as well. So that is why I do the Klerksdorp. My goal is then to qualify at that one.
Okay. And Omdidam?
Omidam is an ultra marathon. So an ultra marathon is a marathon which is longer than a race which is longer than 42 kilometers. This is a 50 kilometer, and it is run around the Hartbeespoort Dam. So the people who live in Johannesburg or that area know it is a very hilly and challenging course. So I know in my mind, if I complete this race, my training is on track for Comrades. So that is why I always do Omidam.
And then the N12, what's that?
So the N12, long ago, it was called the Pioneers Marathon, which is from Klerksdorp to Potchefstroom. And like the Comrades Marathon, it also changes direction. And it used to be a 56, but now it is a 50 kilometer. And I used it this year as an LSD, meaning a long, slow distance. So for perseverance, to get time on the legs. And for me, that is important. It is 6 weeks before Comrades. So you normally do your last long distance then. And it is literally time on the legs. I don't look at my watch, and I just enjoy the race and the atmosphere and the people alongside the road as well.
So what are some of the other marathons that you did to go on this journey of getting to Comrades?
Well, a lot of the races, the other 42, we just ran here at home, around in and out of town. I've done the Aquila, which is in Joburg. That was also a 50 kilometer, another ultra marathon. And then I did one more 42, but it wasn't a race, also another training. So literally 3 42s, one to qualify, and 2 50s before the race. And that's in between the other 20 and 30 kilometers, which you do quite regularly in your training weekends. So weekends are quite tough, where you do your back-to-back running of long mileage. Long, I mean anything from a 15 to a 35 to a 40 consecutively.
In your running career, you've done these 19 Comrades marathons, but have you done any longer races?
Yes, I'm trying to think of the year.
Long time ago.
Yeah, long time ago, I did 120. It is a race which starts at Bagatla, which is at the Pilansberg Game Reserve in the Northwest Province, and you run on the outside of the game reserve, and you end at Manyani. So there you have 18 hours to do the 120 kilometers. I actually completed that race in 13 hours and 35 minutes. I was the second lady and sixth overall, which I was very chuffed because I didn't expect that at all.
Oh, wow. That's really, really great. Tell us about this photo. Is that this year?
That is this year. So for me, that is preparing a person mentally, because you are on this journey of Comrades. That was at the expo, which they have, where you have to go and register and pick up your number for Comrades. So they have posters all over the show. And to me, it is you're literally telling yourself, you are now going on this journey the next day, which is 87.7 kilometers from Pietermaritzburg to Durban, because it was a downhill this year, a down run. And you're preparing yourself mentally, and you're saying to yourself, you can do this. You've got this. And yes, you're taking this on. So to me, it's very important at the expo to take these photos and to mentally prepare yourself for the race.
Wow. Is it always 87.7 kilometers, this race?
The race is normally, when you go down, it is normally always 2 kilometers longer than the up run. To me, I'm not sure why, but I think it's maybe because of the where you start at the town hill of Durban and Maritzburg, and where you end at the race course in Pietermaritzburg.
So tell us about these photos.
So these photos, to me, it's just the day before Comrades, where it's very important for me to relax the day before, not to train at all. So my last run before Comrades, which is on the Sunday, I literally do about 4 kilometers the Tuesday, and then I don't run at all. So to me, it is very important to relax and not do anything. Yes, that's just me playing on the beach and, as I say, getting my mind ready.
So what's the 2,000 entry count on the other image that's here? Is that saying how many people were entered for this year?
20,000. Yes, it's the 20,000. So 20,000 had entered Comrades this year. But of course, they might enter, but on the day of the race, I think we were only 18,000 and something, because of people might have had an injury or been sick, or maybe didn't even qualify, because you can enter Comrades, but you have until beginning of May to qualify. So you can send in your results, but if you haven't qualified, then obviously you can't participate.
So what is this?
So this is the start of the Comrades Marathon. This is in Pietermaritzburg at the town hall. So the day of the morning of the race, you would get up early. By early, I mean if you're probably in Durban, you would be leaving there at 2 o'clock in the morning. We stayed in Pietermaritzburg, so we got up at 3 o'clock. You will be at the start. I like to be there at least an hour before the time. So by 4 o'clock, you are at the start. You are in different seating pens. So depending on your time, you will stand in different places. It is an amazing experience just standing there, because you chat to people around you. You realize you are all on the same journey together. You are all so excited yet nervous, because you know what lies ahead. The runners who have done it before know that it's a long, tough day. Those that haven't, they are excited. They've just heard about the route, but they don't really know what to expect. You also chat to the international runners. The announcer will welcome the elite runners as they get there just before the race starts. So you get to hear them So we don't stand close to one another. You can imagine there are 20,000 people. So the distance from the start to the very last person is quite a way. So in the beginning, everybody who knows Shosha Loza will start singing, and everybody just gets goosebumps. After that, the national anthem is sung, the South African national anthem, and then the Chariots of Fire is played. And after that, the cock crow is sounded and the gun goes off. And you are on this journey. You have to stop crying, because I literally cry every time at the start, because the atmosphere is just so electric and so full of energy, and you just can't explain it to anybody. You really, if you are there and you are a runner, you actually have to come and run it once in your lifetime to experience it. It is really amazing. And then, of course, when the gun goes off, you all start, the front runners start running, we will start walking, and eventually slowly get going.
Oh, that is such a beautiful story. I can just imagine the emotion that you go through in terms of experiencing that. Tell us about these photos.
So in 2020 with COVID, even though we had entered Comrades, it wasn't allowed to take place. But at the last minute, they decided we could do a virtual Comrades, which meant you had, for the first time ever, you had 24 hours to complete the race. And in the beginning, they gave a 10 and a 21 kilometer, then of course the 90 kilometer. So I only entered the 21 because I said to myself, you can't train. We were running around our gardens. So you literally ran 100 meters, if that, turned, another 100 meters turned, and that's how you made up your distance every day, training at home. So mentally it was tough training because you had literally zigzags. I was hopping over my dogs. They were thinking this was the biggest game out every day when I was training. So sometimes I would lock them away so that at least I could try and get sort of a run in. And the furthest distance I ran like that was 35 kilometers, I think. And my friend on the left said to me, will you support me? And because I'm doing the 90. So I said, no problem. I'm only doing the 21. So yes, I'll support you. So if I remember, we had until the Thursday. The race was the Saturday. We had until the Thursday where we could change our entries. So I said to my husband, well, we are in the car. We are next to our friend, giving him water and whatever he needs. I might as well run the race. I mean, I'm in the car for however many hours. We have 24 hours to do it. So let's do this. So yes, my friend actually plotted the route. We started at 4:00 in the morning. Then we ran 8 kilometers, met a group of friends who were doing the 21. We ran sort of out of Klerksdorp for, I think it was 15 kilometers. Then we came back into town. They went back home because they had done their 21. We went over a hill where another group of friends met us, and they ran on another road where we went out of town again before we came back in again. And the whole day to me was very different. It was tough mentally, as I said, because we hadn't really trained. So perseverance, you had to do a lot of it because we knew the option of giving up was we could if we wanted to. But then again, we also knew we had 24 hours. So we persevered. We enjoyed the company. We took photos along the way. We walked when we wanted to walk. We ran. And yeah, it was actually great fun. It was actually a very different Comrades. And in a way, I wish we could do it again. But unfortunately, it doesn't count as a real Comrades. Otherwise, I would have had my 20 long ago.
So who did the cool finish? Who put that together for you?
So my friend actually did that for us because yeah, he always wants to put posters everywhere, and so he designed that Finnish banner for us. And I actually phoned our teachers or on the WhatsApp group. I said, I think, I don't know, I'll be home at say 5:30 or whatever, meet us, because we ended at his house. So I gave them the address and I said, meet us there. So we actually had some friends that were there to meet us at the end of the finish, and some of his family and my family. And it was actually a lovely sort of ending towards the whole day.
Oh, that is such an amazing way to have done this in a really difficult space of time that you were all in. So, what is this story about?
So this is also another amazing story of a person also who had never done any sport in her life. My friend on the left was a person who had done no sport. And her husband said to me he'd done one Comrades in 2000 with me. And he said, no, she would like to do Comrades. And would I mind training her? I said, that would be quite difficult, but I would try. I've never done that in my life before. So I rested that year in 2015 for a month, like I normally do after Comrades. And in July, we started training. So we also did Kaapse Whip as a qualifier. And my friend made it with 5 minutes to spare. In that year, I think we had 5. They moved the qualifying time to 5 hours. So she did it in 4 hours and 55 minutes. After that, every other race we did Omidam, we did a 50 kilometer in Benoni. And if she had to use those times, she actually wouldn't have qualified. So she used them all as LSD, long, slow distances. And in fact, the last 50 in Benoni, they actually stopped her because she was taking so long. So she only did, if I remember, like 40 kilometers of the 50 that day. But yet, when it came to Comrades, she persevered and she actually finished. When she got to the 60 kilometer mark, and somebody from our club said to her, listen, now you better start putting foot or you're not going to make it. And she made it that year with 1 minute and 12 seconds to spare. I have never been so proud of anybody. And it was like nail biting. Her husband phoned and said, has she made it? He says, no, she hasn't made it. We said, yes, she has. She said, no, she hasn't. Yes, she has. And eventually we said, no, she has. We see her on the screen. She has made it. And yeah, we were so happy that she had made it. So that just proves that with perseverance, just doing what you must do as far as training goes, it can be done as long as you're not ill or sick or anything happens that day.
Oh, that is such a beautiful story. And it does show determination. Somebody who's never done any sport to actually complete such a long run and complete it within time. That's a real feat to have achieved.
Yes.
Tell me about this.
So this is my family, my daughter and my children. So I have an amazing, and my husband, I have an amazing support system, which to me is very important. My daughter has also run 1 or 2 marathons with me. When it's my long runs, you can see in the background, she will come and run with me as we go virtually out of town and back. And when they were little, the children would also sort of sit in the boot of the car and ride along me, next to me, and really support me. And my husband is just as supportive. If my friend cannot make running in the mornings, my husband will get up no matter what time, if it's 3 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock in the morning, and he will ride behind me just so that I'm safe and I can do my training. So it's very important to have this supportive system when you are training, because without it, I don't think it will happen at all.
So tell us about this.
So this is the day before Comrades. To me, it's very important to get all your stuff ready. You cannot, the morning of Comrades, rush around and decide what you are wearing or what supplements you must put in your bag or pin on your number, because you will forget something. So the day before there, I was just playing, putting out my vest, as a little person, but literally saying, I must take this, do this, put those socks on, and yes, get mentally prepared. It also helps you to prepare mentally, because then you know this is what you must do. And yes, the race is about to take place.
So for me, another side of this little picture that I really love is that when I was teaching little children and we were telling them how to pack their school bags in the morning and not forget their sporting kit, we used to say to them the night before, pack it out as if you're going to wear it. So like this, as a little person, so they could check, did they have their shoes? Did they have their socks? Did they have all the bits and pieces before they folded it up and put it in their bag? So trying to teach them to remember to pack their own bags and not always getting their mums to do it. So from little, getting them to pack all their goodies out, getting mom to come and check, and then they pack their bags. So when I saw this picture, I thought it's really cool in terms of what you're seeing, but also in terms of being prepared and organized. So even the way you've done the arms with the supplements and things that you're going to be using is really cute.
And teaching them responsibility, yes.
Exactly. So getting children to take ownership of their own decisions and schoolwork, even from little, I think is very important. Tell us about chalk. So you spoke about wearing the kit. Here you're holding the emblem. So tell us a bit about what it is and how this has impacted your Comrades runs.
So CHOC is the Childhood Cancer Foundation. I started running with them quite a few years ago. In the beginning, I ran for breast cancer, and then I decided to do CHOC. To me, it makes the children, for me, running with CHOC also, it makes the children aware of their own lifestyle and being healthy, and how fortunate we are to be healthy and not to have cancer. For me, when you're running CHOC, so that's a friend of, he also ran for CHOC and also made the banner again, which he carried, not me. I must admit, I held it at the start for the photo, but he would take it out every now and again, and we would hold it up as we were running. And
so
what's
was that
amazing,
this year?
That was last year, year's photo. But I still run for CHOC every year. And what's amazing, as you run for CHOC, the people are really appreciative. So whenever they see you coming along, they would say things like, keep moving, or well done, here come the cows. And I remember as I came into the stadium last year, the announcer actually said, here comes Ingrid, one of the cows. Yeah, you could just think what people are thinking. But yeah, it's a really satisfying feeling knowing that you're doing something, that you're making people aware of childhood cancer, and that you are supporting the families and the children by raising money for them.
So in terms of that and raising money, who do you ask in terms of getting money? How does that work?
So for Comrades, they've actually made it easier. Once you say you're running for a charity, they send a link, and which you can post on any social media, WhatsApp, Facebook, wherever. And there's normally you can write a little caption of which I say I'm running my whichever number Comrades, and it's for childhood cancer, and that I am so grateful to be healthy, and I would like to support them, and that people must help me reach my dream of raising, because the minimum you have to raise is 6,000 Rand, which I've been very fortunate to do each year with the people that have donated to my charity. So yes, so I literally send it to friends, and I've been very lucky because people have really been generous and have helped me raise my money. So there you can also see along the way, that was at Comrades, we're stopping at 21 kilometers, 68 kilometers, and we're taking photos and really enjoying it and having fun.
That's really great. So tell us about this photo, since you're all dressed as little chalk cows.
So for this one, I'm very also appreciative of my school. Each year they also help me raise funds for Chalk, where the children dress up either as little superheroes, or they can dress up in the cow outfits or black and white, whatever. And we make the children aware of being healthy and being grateful that we don't have cancer. And yes, they pay X amount and they dress up and
Like a
also,
Civvies Day.
sorry?
So similar to paying for a Civvies Day.
Yes, yes. So similar for a Civvies Day, and they just dress up, as I say, as a superhero or in the cow outfits and just enjoy the day. Yes, and have fun.
Oh, that's really cool. So tell us about this night race.
So for me as a teacher, to motivate the children to get involved in sport, when, for example, we have a night race, then I would always say to the children, when they line up in the mornings, and say, so who am I? And they would say, Mrs. Murray. And then I would say to them, so what do I represent? And they would say, the night race. And I say, okay, so who's in it entered? And they put up their hands. I said, come on, come on, come on. You need to speak to granny, grandpa, mommy, daddy, and we all need to walk. Whether we walk, whether we run, doesn't matter. We need to participate. And we normally have sort of different challenges or competitions where they either have to think of a theme or a color or a something of each class to motivate the children to run. And I must say the children were always very supportive of the night race, and they're always so excited when they get their little medals and say, look, ma'am, I could do 5 kilometers, or because most of them did the 5 kilometers. It was only the older children and the adults which did the 10. And yes, so for me, it's very important to motivate the children and every day remind them, you can't just put up a poster and say, okay, enter the race. So encourage them to participate and say, think of ideas and let's see if this class can beat that class. And yes, it's important to motivate the children and say to them, participation is important. It doesn't always go about winning.
That's very, very true. So tell us about these pictures.
So on the very left is this year. Sorry. That was last year's finish at Comrades. But the medal in the middle is this year's medal. And of course, my daughter at the end fetching me at the race at the end. You just have no idea what it's like at the finish. Sometimes I think it looks like a war zone because there are so many people. Some people are sitting on the end on the grass. Others are walking around aimlessly looking for people. Yet it is satisfying because everybody, as you finish the line, the race, they hang the medal over your neck. So you have a medal, even though you're looking for your friends, your family. But it is very difficult to phone your family because the network is so busy. But I have a rule where we come out of the Green Number Club, then my husband will always find me there. So that's another thing that makes it different with Comrades, is when you have run 10 races, you belong to the Green Number Club, which means your number, so my number is 7493, becomes my permanent number, which means nobody will ever run with that number. It stays mine permanently.
Oh, wow. So tell us about the Green Number Club.
So as I said, if you run 10 Comrades, you belong to the Green Number Club. If you do more, so for every 10, you just get an extra, what you call it, a wreath around the number. So it still stays your number, but you just might get an extra wreath around for every 10 for each 10 years. So you'll have 2 then for 20. And when you do 30, then you have 3 wreaths around the number, and so it increases. So there are people that have done 30, 40, whatever races. Yes, they are also amazing people.
So if you have to think about all of these experiences, how does it impact your teaching?
So to me, as a teacher, it goes about perseverance and being healthy. You have to teach the children to not give up, to be determined, give them goals to do things, and that if they do sport, then they sleep better, they study better, they are more likely to make more friends and communicate better with one another. If they do sport, they also don't realize that they are running around and using up energy. And yes, to make it fun for the children as well. The children must also realize that if they have to put in a better effort, sometimes they have to do that in order to achieve what their goals that they want to do.
So if you think of it from your teaching point of view, we've spoken about it from sport kind of thing. You've said that it helps to improve studying. What is the kind of thing as a teacher, as a role model, you think it has on the children?
Well, I think it builds their self-confidence and their self-esteem, because if a child does sport, they can think more clearly. And if they achieve also in sport, it's just a done thing almost that those children do better academically as well. So yes, sport does play an important part. And for me, it's also important as a teacher. You see the child in a different way as well. You don't just see them in the classroom. You get to know a different side of the child when they are on the sports field. Some children are so shy in class, but yet when they're on the sports field, they are this bubbly, determined person, even more so than in the classroom, which is very important. With that interaction with the children, seeing them differently than in the classroom.
So I just want to say thank you so much for sharing your story tonight and showing how it's possible to actually put yourself out there every year, go through all the practicing, and then go and complete this race, and the impact that then has on the children that you teach. So for 19 years, children have experienced you training and you chatting about it within your classroom space. I think just as a role model from that point of view, I think it must be immense. So as we finish off the chat, what would be your closing thought you would like to leave for either parents or children about the value of sport?
Well, to me, if you're a South African, you have to go and do the Comrades Marathon at least once in your life. And you must start being active because there are so many benefits to being active in life. You are healthier, you have more energy, you can seem to do more things. At school, they actually call me the Duracell bunny because I'm forever busy. And yeah, I think that's also just the way I'm wired. But yes, I think go out there, participate. If you're a parent, get involved with your child, support them along the way because that is so important, and have fun with your children. And winning is not everything. It goes about participation and just reaching your own goals. I think that is so important, and building your own confidence.
I agree. Reaching your own goals, stretching yourself a little bit at a time and reaching your own goals is really what we want everybody to do. So I'm going to end the broadcast and just say thank you so much, Ingrid. I really, really appreciate your time. Good night, everyone.
Thank you. Good night.